Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Synsei Inc. Today I am back. We got one of the long-running collab mates here. Got Tekken 101 with us today. Man, how you doing, Tekken?
Hey, Synsei. Yeah, it's been a little while since last time we collabed. Actually, it says right here in the log, I think it was September 7th. I think it was that. Well, we did one on my channel, and I think it was like 2 ones ago, and the last one I did, I think I was on your podcast. But yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you back. Man, Tekken recording for the first time with me, but in his new home. So we're happy to hear that. I got to talk to him a little bit about that. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Straw Hats because, and I was telling Tekken this before we started recording, I really feel that Wano is starting to close. What do you think about that, Tekken, Wano coming to a close?
I mean, like, I feel like the writing is on the wall, honestly. I mean, I was kind of waiting for the whole Act 4 thing to happen. At this point, I don't think it is. Or if it does, Act 4 is just going to be the end of the battle. Because, like, what do we have left here? We have Lawn Kid versus Big Mom. We got Luffy and Kaido, obviously. We got some other stuff with Yamato and Momo and stuff. Apu is still running around. But for the most part, I mean, all the major threats have been taken care of.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think at this point it's like Wano is like coming to that point where we've seen in other arcs where it's like, okay, the final fight is about to start. Like Luffy's already on the roof as we speak, dealing with that situation. We see the other Straw Hats, like the major ones. We see like Sanji and Zoro. It looks like their fights are about to come to a close. And usually when like Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy's fights are like simultaneously happening, it's like, okay, this is probably about to be over with. So it gave me very much like Ennis Lobby vibes a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. With the way it's setting up right now, with the last chapter that we left out on with Sanji and Queen, I think Oda will just focus on that fight next because there was a lot of hard setup for that. And then right after we wrap up Sanji's fight, probably get Zoro's fight. And then, I mean, this will be sprinkled throughout with like other characters doing stuff in Onigashima. But then we'll just cap it off with, I mean, there's nothing else you can do. I mean, Luffy's fighting Kaido one-on-one just like he wants to. I don't think we're going to do another thing where Kaido knocks him off of Onigashima again and he has to get back up. So this is it. I mean, at least do or die for Luffy.
At least I hope not.
No, yeah, that would be weird. It's like, okay, I knocked him off. I have to wait another 10 chapters for him to come back.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to ask you, Tekken, I want to kind of compare and contrast. I want to talk about the Straw Hats and their like performance during Wano. And then I want to talk about a little bit after Wano, like how this would have prepared for them to fight and to have other obstacles in their way, you know, such as the Blackbeard altercations, Emu, maybe world government stuff, Navy stuff. So
yeah, final saga kind of stuff we're talking about here. Yeah,
exactly. So like first and foremost, if you could like just give me a brief like summary of how you feel the Straw Hats have performed in the raid so far.
I think they've performed very well. I was originally expecting the Tobi Roppo fights to be a little longer than what they were. Frankie's fight, Robin's fight were like the standouts to me. They really surprised me. Jinbei's always been really strong, so I didn't think that his fight was going to be like, he wasn't going to reveal some super new powerful ability or anything. He's just Jinbei. He's already like super buff and everything. But yeah, their fights, like Frankie took out Sasaki, and it's just like it's a staple to show how stronger the Straw Hats have become. You know, it's like the Tobi Roppo were a little tough, but not crazy tough for them. They were able to succeed. You know, in the case with like some of the abilities they showed, like I think for one thing, the Frankie Shogun is destroyed. Frankie's going to have to rebuild like a better one, and that'll take us into the final arc with like Battle Frankie. I think the Shogun was 38, so he'll maybe make a 39. And then Robin having the devil form, you know, she passed out after using it, so she'll just have to get better at using that. So it's setting up a lot of stuff for like their final ultimate moves that they'll use in the final saga.
Yeah, I agree. I was very, very interested in Robin because there was like a little bit of...
I am too.
Yeah, there was like a little bit of like talk before the devil form, what was it, Devil Child?
Oh, yeah, well,
floor or something like
her
that.
epitaph, so to speak, was like Devil Child Nico Robin. I forget what the actual name of that technique is.
Yeah, I do too, but
yeah.
Yeah, it was like the devil form, but there was a little bit of talk beforehand, I guess kind of like alluding to how she came about learning that move or using that move. And it seems that she used a little bit of like Fishman karate, but there was also Sabo talking about maybe trying to help her with his like dragon claw move that he has. And I was thinking, like, do you think that she just went with the Fishman karate, or do you think that there's like a possibility that maybe Sabo showed her that move as well? Because that move, I was wondering about it, but that move, unless she's...
I just looked it up. It's Demonio Fleur. So just Demonio, that's it. Yeah, Demon Blooming is the name of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the move Sabo has, we've seen him use it during Dressrosa.
Yeah, Dragon Claw.
Yeah, it's a Haki move. So like, do you think if she did learn it, do you think she'll just use it without Haki, or do you think
I would say, yeah. I mean, if it's not an awakening, let's just say it's the. I'm gonna say if it could be an awakening, it's like her being able to freely form her body, because it had like horns and fangs and stuff Robin doesn't normally have. So it would make sense if it was an awakening. But if it wasn't, if it was just her making a big form of herself, just adding Haki, and that could explain why it exhausted her and stuff, she probably might be able to use it without. But the issue is, like, Luffy's Gear 4th seems to only function when he uses Haki to kind of coat himself in it.
Yeah.
So that's one of those questions, like, could Luffy go Gear 4th without using armament, or wouldn't it be able to maintain? That's like a question, because we've never seen Luffy try it.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm like, is she exhausted because it's, like, an awakening? Because we did see, like, recently with Kid and Law, when they used their awakenings, they did get tired.
That's the downside, yeah.
You know what I mean? So is it because it's an awakening that she got tired, or was that Haki? I would think, I'm going so far like that it's just the shading of like how the panels was, and I think that maybe it was more, I would think it was an awakening.
Yeah,
but we just
I'm
don't
leaning
really...
definitely toward more awakening now. I just did a video today, actually, just uploaded like an hour ago, and a theory I had there was like, you know, awakenings were set up as really rare things in the story. Oda might just go in the direction of like, all the Straw Hats that have a devil fruit have awakenings, and it becomes kind of a less, like, it's not as rare as we thought it was, maybe.
Yeah, because that would explain, because people are always wondering like, okay, well, if the Straw Hats aren't going to learn Haki, how are they going to get more powerful? And that kind of could explain that. Like, well, maybe they won't get stronger using Haki, but maybe like Chopper, Brook, Robin, you know, those are the Straw Hats that have devil fruits, maybe they could use awakening instead.
And the thing is, for all of the ones that do have devil fruits in the Straw Hat crew, you could make a case on why they are awakened. You could say Chopper's Rumble Ball makes him awaken. Brooks had his power for 52 years, and he has the soul thing he saw at Totland. You know, maybe he could do that. Maybe that's his awakening. Robin has this, and Luffy, of course. Do you think Luffy's going to awaken? I feel main character of the story, I think he will.
Yeah, I think if Kid and Law have awakened against Big Mom, that Luffy will, especially with like how much Oda has pushed Law, Kid, and Luffy since the beginning of this raid as being like the like main protagonist of this raid against the Yonko. Like, he's been pushing it ever since.
They're like equals in a sense, you know, like they're the ones that also stood against Kaido there, along with Killer and Zoro. So I feel like, if Luffy hasn't awakened already, I think it's just like he'll be using a final attack against Kaido, and he won't know it's an awakening, but he'll use it, and that's how he'll beat him.
Exactly, because Luffy's not the most like introspective person. Like, he's not gonna know like, I've awakened. He's probably just gonna do something. Do you think Kaido may notice, and maybe Kaido understands, and then that's how we'll learn?
Kaido would notice right away, because I feel like I talked about this in the video too. I mean, Big Mom and Kaido have to be awakened. They just have to.
Of course.
Like, of course, they're your Yonko. It's just never been mentioned, but they have been. So Kaido would notice. The closest thing I think Luffy would get to it is he would use some big attack subconsciously, like his awakening, and afterwards, maybe before he passes out, he'll like, oh, that was like Katakuri's attack, or like, because it's very similar fruits, and it's like, oh, that might be something like that, and then he would pass out. Maybe Law or Kid or somebody would tell him later what happened, but he would have to train with it, obviously.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it'll be one of those things. Oda does that a lot, and I think it's cool. He'll like use the like antagonist or like other characters to kind of like to tell us what's going on. Like perhaps like for a good example is like when we seen like Zoro, and I think it was Kawamatsu was talking to Hirogoro, and they were like, oh, he looks kind of like Ryuma, or like they were making like those comments. I like how Oda does that. Like he has characters make comments in the background to kind of like give us hints or like tell us what's going on.
Yeah, there's like something going on here with Zoro is like, oh, he looks like Ushimaru. He uses the same sword style as him.
Yeah.
And oh, hey, didn't Ryuma also have a scar? It's like, so it's all clicking together involving Zoro's past.
Yeah, and I like when Oda does that. So I could definitely with that see him have Kaido be like, oh, it looks like you've awakened your devil fruit, or like it looks like you've used an awakening or something like that. So
I could definitely see it going down that way.
Yeah, for sure. So we've seen the Straw Hats like perform. How do you feel about some of the lesser Straw Hats though? Like, and I don't mean lesser like character wise, but lesser like strength wise.
Weaker maybe in terms of strength. Yeah.
Because they haven't really got like a ton of fights. Also, Brook is a cool one to talk about too, because Brook doesn't often get like 1v1 fights, but he's very helpful. Like, if that makes sense. Like, he's very helpful.
He didn't get a 1v1 with a Tobiropo here, but he fought against, like, a bunch, like, pretty much all of Black Maria's little clique, and also one of the numbers, and he finished them all off in one attack. Yeah. So, that was pretty impressive. Brook is way stronger than, he's a good support type also, though.
Yeah, man. Like, I feel like there's certain, like, characters that don't really need the 1v1s to prove they're strong.
No.
And I never felt that way about Brook. Like, I don't think he really needs one. It would be cool to see, like, of course, from a viewer perspective, like, if he gets one eventually, maybe he'll get one when they go against, like, the Blackbeard crew. Because I'm sure that, like, everyone's going to have to, like, you know, play their part. That's going to be a big
that's
deal.
going to be the final test, because it's like, like in this arc, you had Usopp and Nami working together with Tama to take down, like, Ulti and stuff. And then Big Mom was there, too. Yeah, I think when we get to the Blackbeard crew, which I feel that's going to be, like, the final challenge they're going to have to face. And I want to get your opinion on that too. Like, do you think the Blackbeard Pirates are like, that's going to be it?
Yeah, I always have thought that should be like the final test for the Straw Hats. Like, outside of like maybe Zoro will end up fighting Mihawk after that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the last main threat where they could die, because people have thrown out the idea of like, what if they have a Davy back fight with Shanks? Or I think we've even talked about that.
Yeah,
before.
we did.
And it's like, that would be cool, but like the last like life or death battle,
situation,
that would be Blackbeard versus the Straw Hats, 1v1 all of them.
Exactly, because Blackbeard's actually, like, people might have forgotten, but I know you wouldn't have. But Blackbeard's been trying to like get at Luffy for a long time, since Jaya. Like,
oh yeah.
Like since back then, and he like has seen Luffy. Like, I feel like Blackbeard has seen him as a potential threat in the future to whatever ambition that Blackbeard has, or whatever Blackbeard wants to do. I feel like he feels and he knows that Luffy is going to be an obstacle. So when they finally encounter each other, like, seriously, I don't think Blackbeard's going to play around. I think like Blackbeard is most assuredly going to be like, okay, we have to get rid of Luffy and his crew here. Like,
Blackbeard is so terrifying too, because we still don't know his ultimate goal yet. We just know that, like, he wants to gather devil fruits, he wants to make like a pirate paradise, but what's his like ultimate thing that he's actually trying to do? Get the One Piece, sure, but like what?
For what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such an enigma when it comes to One Piece, man. But that's why I love Blackbeard so much.
I can't wait until we get after this arc, and it's probably just going to be like, the Blackbeard saga or whatever, and we're going to focus on him primarily, because he would be the last threat. I mean, Shanks would be around, but he's not an enemy of the Straw Hats, so that would be the next threat, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. I think... are you still on the boat that we're getting Elbaf? I know. Do you think we're definitely getting that?
Like, the only thing that kind of troubles me with Elbaf is the whole timeline thing that Oda spoke about, like this many years of One Piece left and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, I tend to take that stuff with a grain of salt. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just. I think Elbaf needs to happen. I think they still need to go there.
Yeah, there's just so many ties with that in Usopp,
exactly.
man. Like,
there's
so many.
Wano is 120 chapters so far.
Yeah.
I mean, and Tautland was like 70. You could have Elbaf as like a 50 chapter arc. I mean, you could do a story with that. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's just so many. It would be like a bummer, because like ever since like we got confirmation that like Usopp like wanted to go to the Land of Giants, like I always have been like, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an early thing in the story, too. Like, Little Garden, we find out about that. And it's just like, you see, like, Oda's excited to introduce giants into the story and this country of giants. And we got to see him in Big Mom's flashback. I'm like, let's go to Elbaf. We got to.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Speaking of Usopp, since we brought him up, how do you feel about Usopp? Because I feel like Usopp is going to have to go against Van Augur. Like, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like, how do you feel like Usopp's going to be able to prepare for that? Because it's just like, it seems like Usopp hasn't had any huge advancements in like power. Do you think that if we do get Elbaf, that'll be a time for Usopp to grow?
Yeah, so Usopp, if Usopp goes to Elbaf, I mean, that'll definitely be a chance for him to grow. I mean, he'll get to meet, like, maybe some other former members of Dory and Bragi's crew. Maybe Hyrudine would be there. Like, he would meet the Giants, and that would give him some huge confidence boosts and stuff. We know he unlocked observation at Dressrosa. He might have fine-tuned that a bit. Van Augur would definitely have, like, really good observation, though, because that's his whole thing.
Yeah, we've seen that guy hit a bird from, like, forever away.
What if it's a thing where they run into Shanks's crew first and you have a reunion with Yasopp and Usopp, and Yasopp tries to like train his son to teach him about like maybe using firearms instead of slingshots, but Usopp's like, no, I'm going to stick with slingshots because that's what I know. And it's like he defeats Van Augur, who uses a rifle with a slingshot. That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
I always thought that something that would make sense for me, and I'll get your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Usopp, exactly what you just thought with Usopp. I had the same mindset. Instead of switching to a gun using the slingshots, but using armament Haki to compensate for not having a firearm. Like, so
Haki bullets, that's a fun topic. Yeah, we've talked about there's devil fruits. I mean, sea prism bullets definitely exist, and they're really, you can only find them in Wano. I don't know if we've ever talked about, or they've ever shown it in One Piece, like, yeah, you can add Haki to a bullet, but like, or a shot, like, like a pachinko shot, like with Usopp.
Not like a bullet, but we have seen it with the Kuja pirates with arrows.
Oh, with arrows, yeah. I think that might have been one of the very few projectiles.
Yeah, so I would assume if you can do it with an arrow, I was like, could you do it with a bullet maybe?
You know what's funny? Now that I'm thinking about this, because with a gun, just think about like how you hold a rifle. Like the Kujas were actually physically touching the arrow when they released it, but you can't do that with bullets because they're in the actual chamber. But with Usopp, he has a slingshot. He's holding onto his ammo.
Holding onto it.
So that could work. It's a similar property to a bow and arrow, like a slingshot. They're different, obviously, but close enough that I think it could work.
That's what I'm saying. Because I was like thinking, and I was like, man, like the gun, like where does the gun, like what advantages is there to using the gun over like a bow and arrow, slingshot? The gun itself powers and propels the bullet.
Yeah.
So you don't need the Haki. But if you have something that's manual, like a bow, and the Kuja pirates have used it, they used the Haki to make the arrow itself fly further, stronger, faster.
Absolutely.
Why can't
break boulders and shit?
Exactly. So why can't we do the same thing with Usopp's projectiles if he doesn't want to use a gun? Well, if he doesn't have a engineered like machine to propel and power his bullet, using the Haki, I feel like will be the compensation.
The machine.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I think he could definitely do that 100%. It's just he's unlocked observation, and it was revealed by Rayleigh, like anybody can unlock Haki of observation and armament. It's just that you tend to be one or the other. So Usopp's specialty would definitely be observation, but yeah, armament would work too.
And why I feel like it's a potential for him to do this is because like how funny and how cool would it be if like, because people always say, well, Usopp, one of his lies was like the Conqueror's Haki. And especially recently, you remember the chapter recently where like Big Mom's Haki was like knocking out the fodder and people thought it was Usopp. I was like, what if like Usopp gets all the Haki types like Luffy?
That would be hilarious. I mean, there might be some people that would be mad about that, but I don't give a shit. That would be hilarious. That'd be great. Yeah.
Like I'm just like
the only thing about that is Conquerors have like Usopp still very much is very afraid at times, and I think that might be hampering him when it comes to getting a Conqueror's Haki boost. But like if he goes to Elbaf, maybe he can learn to finally become that brave warrior of the sea he always wants to be, like his father.
What if the Conqueror's moment what if the Conqueror's moment is his moment? Like what if that's his like brave warrior of the sea moment.
I'll tell you, like, I'm thinking back through Wano, the battles we've had so far, and other than that moment you just mentioned with, you know, Big Mom's Haki and Usopp pretending that it's his, and it was a funny moment. What other really big moments has Usopp had in this battle? I can't really think of anything
Not
in particular. Nami
Like,
had the moment where Ulti had her
with
dead to
Ulti.
rights, and, you know, she was like, even if I'm gonna die, you know, Luffy will be the Pirate King, and she's crying. She had that moment. A lot of the other Straw Hats had their fights, but, like, I can't really think Usopp had anything in particular.
Yeah, Usopp really didn't get much. Like, and that's why I brought him up, because it's like, if you go through it, I mean, Frankie had a fight, Robin had a fight, Jinbei had a fight, Sanji, Zoro, Luffy, Brook helped Robin out, Nami had that moment, Chopper's done amazing on the live stage.
Yeah, Chopper did his thing with the Isoni virus and fixing everybody up, so he fought Queen for a little while. That scene where he, like, suplexed Queen, that was cool. Yeah, Usopp's just been, he fought page 1, but it was nothing like, it wasn't like a big epic 2-page spread where he, like, dropped page 1 or anything. Big Mom's the one that took him out. So, exactly. Yeah, we didn't really get that. So maybe Oda's holding off. It's like, no, Usopp might not have such crazy moments, but in the next arc, he's going to have a huge moment or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking since he didn't get a lot in Wano, that he might get something, like, huge in Elbaf if he does.
He's got to get something big, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, as far as we've talked a little bit about the, like, Blackbeard pirates, but I wanted to kind of talk about how do you feel, and I think you've made a video on this. I think I have too. As far as the matchups go with the Blackbeard pirates, have you ever went through and thought about the matchups?
Yeah, I did do a video about that. I was actually just thinking about that the other day too, and it was a while back, but, like, okay. So let's just do the ones that make sense first. I mean, Luffy versus Blackbeard, Zoro versus Shiryu. I mean, obviously. Usopp versus Van Augur. So Katarina Devon is an interesting one. Her backstory we got in one of the Vivre cards says that this is very gruesome. She would actually, like, hunt women who are, like, beautiful or attractive and would, like, cut their heads off. Like, that was her backstory that was shown in the Vivre card. So it's like, all right, I was thinking, like, well, maybe she could fight against Nami and Robin, but if we're doing 1v1s, like, probably just Nami would be Katarina Devon. Let's see, Avalo Pizarro is the Corrupt King, and Corrupt King, I just feel like Robin would maybe be a good matchup for him. A lot of people want Vasco Shot to fight Sanji. Yeah. Also, going to the Corrupt King, I think it was Avalo Pizarro I've seen. He's from the North Blue. I do believe so, yes.
So I was like, what if, like, it's crazy, but, like, we know that Sanji's a prince, and he's, like, has these animosities towards Judge. So it's like, Judge is like a corrupt king from the North Blue. Like, maybe there's like a Avalo Pizarro kind of themed thing.
Ooh, that is interesting. The North Blue, it seems to be, because they mentioned the East was like the weakest or the most peaceful sea. From what we know, the North is the most dangerous, because like Doflamingo came from the North. All these really strong pirates came from the North. So
what about the Vasco Shot though? You mentioned that one.
People want him to fight Sanji. I've seen so many things about that. There is a theory out there that he's eventually gonna get Jozu's fruit, which is the diamond fruit. So he's gonna be diamond or whatever. And I think that's a holdover from when people wanted Shiryu to get the diamond fruit. So Shiryu was like a diamond swordsman, and then he would have to fight Zoro. But that obviously isn't happening now. So yeah, I don't know about that. But Vasco Shot, we just don't know much about him other than he's a drunk. So there's that. Doc Q and Stronger, his horse, they would probably both fight Chopper.
Gotta be Chopper.
Gotta be Chopper. But here's the thing with Doc Q that is very fascinating. So when the original Blackbeard crew, we don't find bounties for all of them, but just the original core crew, when their bounties were revealed, Doc Q, because remember, Blackbeard himself, he had 0. He didn't have a bounty originally. Doc Q had the highest. His original bounty before, he joined the Blackbeard crew, it's higher now, but it used to be 72 million, and like Van Augur's was like lower, Jesus Burgess was lower, so it's just like, how come his bounty is so high? And he's like this sickly dude, Actually, he's only 28, but he looks like he's like an old man, So yeah, he's got to fight Chopper. Who else does that leave us with? Burgess, maybe.
Wolf.
San Juan Wolf, I feel like, should fight Jinbei. Because he's like this, like Watatsume fought Jinbei, Frankie against Burgess. That would actually be a really awesome fight.
Frankie and Burgess, I feel like it has to happen.
Dude,
right?
that has to happen because like Frankie all uses those wrestling moves. And Burgess is a luchador. So there you go.
It has to happen, bro.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Like, come on. Yeah. What about Lafitte and Brooke?
Oh, I think that would. You see, this is actually, you can see Oda's like making like a negative version of the Straw Hats here. Like it's very close to see how you can see how it matches up.
Yeah.
Brooke and Lafitte. Yeah, Lafitte used to be a sheriff, like a peace officer in the West, and he has some fruit that allows him to turn him into like a pigeon or something. He has like pigeon dove wings. Yeah.
Yo. I didn't even know about his devil fruit. I knew he was the officer though.
It's only mentioned, like we see him, I think, in Impel Down, like flying with pigeon wings, and that's like it. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Fascinating indeed.
Yeah, I think those matchups make sense, man.
I think that's everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's the mysterious. Since we're talking about Blackbeard, who do you think is the 10th captain? Because we don't know.
Oh yeah, we still don't even know who that is. That's crazy.
Aokiji I threw out because he was working.
Does that kind of confirm that there's going to be another Straw Hat?
Oh man, I want Yamato or Carrot to join. I'm still on that, but I would like there to be another Straw Hat. Ooh, that might be the best. That actually might be the best source of like credulity that there'll be another Straw Hat, because then you could have easy one-on-ones for each of the Blackbeard pirates. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Because I forgot about the 10th Titanic Captain. That makes sense. The 10th Straw Hat, the 10th Titanic Captain.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I don't know. I feel like someone's had to have brought that up before, right?
Jinbei is technically the 10th member, but he's the 9th to join. So, yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Yeah, because, if you take Blackbeard and Luffy out of the picture as captains, and then there's 10, because is there 10 captains other than Blackbeard?
Yeah, so it's Blackbeard. He's the admiral of the Blackbeard fleet. So then he would be fighting against Luffy, and then there's 10 other people. So for that to work, there would have to be another Straw Hat.
It'd have to be 10. Yeah.
So let's get Yamato probably or something.
Yeah, Yamato versus whoever it had to be somebody super strong then, because Yamato is powerful.
Yeah, but I think those matchups were great. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting, man. And one last thing I wanted to talk about. How do you feel about some of the Straw Hats fighting, mainly the main ones, Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, fighting Admirals? Do you think that at any point they will fight Admirals? Because, and I ask because Zoro and Fujitora, I want that so bad. Like, ever since Dressrosa, I've I want to see.
It's been teased. Yep.
And then, of course, everyone, ever since that one, there was an opening that I didn't even know existed, until recently.
Oh, you didn't? That was in Hard Knock Days, I believe. Yeah.
I had not seen all the One Piece openings, and I was on stream on Twitch one day, and they were like, can we watch the openings? We want you to, rank them, see which ones you like the most. So I went and watched all of them, which took forever, by the way. But
oh yeah, I did a video about that too. We had to go through all of them. There's 23. Yeah, it took a while.
My God. So I went through all of them, and I get to this one, and I see Luffy, Akainu, Zoro, Fujitora, and Sanji and Kizaru. And I was like, this is crazy. How did I not know this existed?
I might just make a video about that, because there have been from that one opening, there's been so much hype with their fight. And I want to see the Straw Hats fight the Admirals. I really do. I guess it could happen at Laugh Tale. I'm just trying to find the perfect part in the story for them to have those battles. And I don't think it's going to be a situation where Zoro, cuts up Fujitora so bad he's he can't be an admiral anymore or something like that. But it might be a serious brawl between the two, and there is a winner and loser. It's just that, they can keep on being admirals afterwards. Might be something like that. And then Luffy Akainu, I think Sabo might fight him, or maybe it might be like Luffy and Sabo fight him a little bit, and then Luffy has to go run off to do something else, and then Sabo kind of finishes it because they're still the brothers of Ace. Something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Man, because my problem is, okay, you can say easily all right, Zoro and Fujitora, that just makes sense, right?
Yeah, then, absolutely. They're swordsmen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And then Sanji and Kizaru was cool. Also, I think Sanji and Green Bull is cool. We talked about that before.
Yeah. We still don't know really anything about him, but he
yeah.
has the personality that's very similar to Sanji. Like he likes like women and stuff, and so
Yeah, and he hasn't eaten in 3 years. Like I think it would just be a cool like
that'd be an
theme-wise.
interesting fight. Yeah.
But then there's like Luffy and Akainu is tough, man, because it's like, all right, what about Sabo? You know? So it's like,
I mean, dude, this is kind of cheesy, but I could see a fight where Luffy and Sabo are fighting against
that's
Akainu.
what I said.
And then the ending though is like they use the final attack on him, and a ghostly image of Ace appears behind them, and so it's all three of them like punch out Akainu at the same time. That would be cheesy, but that would be cool.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like, okay, I think Sabo should fight against Akainu one way or another, just because he has, like, of course,
he has Ace's fruit.
He has Ace's fruit. Ace died to him. He has Ace's fruit. It would be a symbolic way for Ace to like get his lick back. You know?
Yeah, it would be cool if Sabo could like get his fire, because the whole point was Akainu kills Ace because like magma burns hotter than fire. Well, what if Sabo figures out a way to make the fire like blue fire, so like now it burns even hotter than magma? You know, like there's like a twist like that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because like in my eyes, it's like I know people will be like, oh, that's kind of like corny, I guess, but I don't think so. I think it would be cool to see Luffy and Sabo avenge their brother. Like I think it would be cool. And there was like a moment in Stampede that like that one person with the devil fruit, you remember, he like manifested Ace in that moment.
Yeah. That was Anne, I think her name is. She has like the illusion fruit. Yeah,
and it would be cool to like see that, not like physically of course, but like have a moment where like you have Sabo and Luffy fighting Akainu, and maybe you have like this just imagery of Ace with them, like kind of coming through the Mara, and you know, and Luffy also uses flame moves as well, which I think is cool.
So he uses like red rock, Sabo uses fire fist, and like it's not a real ghost. It's just like, you know, in the flames of the attack you see Ace's like form, and that would be cool. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. That'd be an awesome moment, I feel like, for both of them. And I mean, that could also like supply the fight that we want to see, especially if like Akainu was as strong as like people think, because I feel like Akainu is very like this is a thing like with Admirals, it's like they're all relatively around, like I feel like around the same strength level. Like you have to be like a certain strength level to like even be an Admiral, but I think that like Akainu in my eyes is just like a notch above them. He just seems that way. He's portrayed.
It was also mentioned in the Vivre card, his devil fruit is kind of like in the highest tier of like destruction capabilities because it's magma. So
he's a tough cookie, man. He's strong. So it's like it would be cool, like maybe Luffy and Sabo like, all right, cool, like let's take this guy out.
I would say it makes more sense for Sabo at the moment, because where everybody's on the map, you know, like Sabo is kidnapped underneath Marijois, and so that's not far from Marine HQ, so maybe Akainu could go to Marijois, run into him, or maybe something like that could happen.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Imagine, like, we hear, oh man, I really, there's so much context for that reverie, and we talked about that in the video we did on your channel, but there's so much stuff, man, that like we just want to know, and it's just like, I kind of want to know that stuff more than like what's going on right now. Like,
I mean, like it's been a while. It's been a while since an act break, and we've gotten to see what's happening in the rest of the world. That's why I'm hoping on Act 4 to like Act 3 to end soon, so we can like cut to see what's going on with Sabo or something, you know. But I mean, it'll come pretty soon. I feel like, you know, we're getting into these maybe like an extra couple dozen or so chapters, and we might getting into the final part here.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Well. Thank you for coming on the channel as always. I feel like we had a good conversation about the Straw Hats. I'm excited to see where they go from here. I think they have grown tremendously, and we'll end the conversation here with a question that we didn't really talk about. We were started to talk about it, but then we're like, we'll save it for the video. Yeah. I think, and I made this statement, I think that now the Straw Hats, there aren't any non-Yonko crews that can compete with them. Mainly because of Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei. Of course, the other Straw Hats pull their weight too, but I feel like those four are so powerful that like I can't think of a non-Yonko crew with enough strong members that can compete.
I understand. Yeah, like out of the supernovas, I would say the worst generation, other than Blackbeard, of course, because he's a Yonko, I would say the Straw Hats are the strongest right now. The only crew that might contend is Kids, and that's only because, like, outside of Kid and Killer, we know Kid and Killer, they're really strong, and we know Heat and Wire are, like, 2 other members, but we don't really know much about the other ones. But I would just think in raw power, the Straw Hats at this point would be stronger than them, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, cause I'm just thinking about it like numbers wise, right? Cause like you mentioned Kid, and it's like, yeah, Kid and Killer, and it's just like, okay, that's like Luffy and Zoro, but then
Luffy
like
and Zoro, but who else?
Who's gonna defeat Sanji and Jinbei? Let alone
all
Robin's pretty strong herself.
Yeah.
Frankie's pretty strong himself. Brooke's pretty strong himself. Like.
Exactly.
And that's kind of
strong members on their crew, but like, are they Frankie strong? Are they Brooke strong? Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's all I was saying. But yo, Tekken, thank you so much. Like I said, man,
Thanks,
it's been
Synsei.
a pleasure. Been a pleasure having you on. It's always fun having you on.
Anytime,
guys,
man.
Make sure that you like the video if you like it. Make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications if you want more One Piece videos like this. And make sure you check out Tekken's channel. It'll be in the description. I really appreciate that. As always, hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these trying times. This has been Synsei Inc. and Tekken 101, and I will see you all in the next video.
See ya, everybody.
Hey.
Perfect.
That was